Generally speaking, there are various approaches to business valuation, and they break down into essentially three different approaches. One is, let's call it an asset approach. How much does the business own? Do they have equipment? Do they have real estate? Do they have other assets, vehicles? And then in that way, it's pretty straightforward. Everything is valued and you have a value approach. The other is called a market approach. A market approach is how much would someone pay to own your business or to buy your business? Maybe the best way of thinking of that is, what if you had a franchise? What if you had a McDonald's? Those cases are relatively easy. There is a market for the sale of a franchise, and it could be relatively easily determined. The third way is what's called an income approach. Income approach is, how much does this business make per year? Maybe the business makes $1 million a year. So what would someone pay for a business that spins off $1 million a year? And I don't want to get too technical, but there's counter considerations. Risk, for example. Maybe you have a business that makes $1 million a year, but it's a very risky endeavor, or it's very tech forward, and maybe there's a different technology that's going to make it obsolete. Or maybe the opposite is true. Maybe it's a turnkey operation that's been making $1 million for 20 years. So that's the income approach. So there are those three approaches, generally speaking, and depending upon the type of business and the type of case and the personalities involved and the strategy, we generally speaking choose one of those approaches. And by the way, when I say we, the way it works is either you will have a joint expert, and there's always going to be an expert, a forensic accountant. A joint means you both hire that person and you agree, for the most part, to accept their recommendations or their report. The other way of doing it is have your own expert, and the other person has their own expert, and then there's a battle. Or sometimes the court appoints its own expert. But there is, generally speaking, an expert involved, and that is how businesses are valued.